What is up, everybody? It is Og here, back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking our warrior. We're going to be taking our warrior through a gold farm. So for those of you who do not know, I do have a warrior. Probably know me from all my mage gold farming and power leveling videos. But today we're actually going to be taking a warrior through a gold farm. Now, warriors prototypically are not known for being able to gold farm because they lack healing. They need to stop to eat food. They don't have a ton of AoE abilities. They could take a ton of damage from bosses because they got to be in melee range. Basically everything that could be a negative for gold farming, at solo gold farming that is a warrior. However, warriors have a special trinket, which can be obtained from their class trinket from Sunken Temple, which is called Diamond Flask. And so Diamond Flask is great for PvE rating and increases your strength by 75 for a minute, which is actually a lot. But it also has another benefit, which it restores 9 health per 5 seconds. So 9 health per 5 seconds doesn't sound like much. However, it also has a 1-to-1 plus healing ratio. So what does that mean? Well, there's a stat called plus healing, or some gear with of the healing, or things like that, where you actually increase your healing done by spells by that amount. Sometimes there's going to be a negative or a small coefficient for the heal. However, with plus healing on Diamond Flask, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means that if you have plus 500 healing and you pop Diamond Flask, your Diamond Flask is going to heal for 509 every 5 seconds. And if you have 1,000, it's 1,009 every 5 seconds. This opens up a plethora of ideas in my head, and this is one of the ones that I wanted to try immediately. And so we are here in ZF, we have our Diamond Flask. The trick to using a Diamond Flask is actually to swap your gear. And so you can see right here that I have 363 bonus healing. So I by no means have the best gear for this. There's tons of people out there with, 1,000, or some even push up to, I think the highest is like 1,200 bonus healing. It's absolutely insane, but you can get some really good items. Now, granted, to hit that 1,200, you're probably going to need to take some items away from priests and shamans and druids and pallies, which might not make them too happy, but you can hit that mark. But what you do is that you have your Diamond Flask on. You can see it right here in the top slot of our trinkets. You have your plus healing gear on. You pop your Diamond Flask, and then you swap gear immediately to your damage or your tank gear or whatever. And as long as you keep Diamond Flask in that same trinket spot, you have to make sure that's the same trinket spot, because otherwise it could be counted as changing gear. You're going to keep that flask buff, which means that you're going to have the plus healing. So what that allows us to do is we can come into ZF, we can dismount right here, we can pop our Diamond Flask, swap gear with item rack, which I'll show at the end of the video, so definitely stay tuned to the end of the video to see how to do that. Charge in, and now we are healing. And so you can see in the healing done that every 5 seconds, we're actually going to heal for about 400 health, which makes this possible. 372 right there. We're also healing from Bloodthirst, and we're just burning down the mobs in Berserker stance, just doing a ton of damage. And so what do I recommend as far as gear goes? I recommend to be a little bit tanky for this. So I'm personally Fury Prot spec, and I think that Fury Prot is going to be great for this. Fury Prot is a build which allows you to generate a ton of threat and raids, but it also allows you to be Fury spec'd with the increased armor talents and things like that. So you have an additional bit of armor that's going to help you. And then you wear some of your defensive gear while still maintaining offensive strategies. So I still have on like Lionheart and things like that. And I'm rocking dual wield. And so I'm not going like full tank or anything like that. But I do have a good amount of damage, and I do have a good amount of armor to also sustain me through these fights. Most of these fights are going to be physical. If they're casters, you don't really need to worry because the casters are going to be low enough level that you're resisting everything anyways. But for the physical fights, we're able to grind through. And so up in the top left, we have Farm Log running. So that's right up here. Farm Log is an add-on which calculates the amount of gold that you make per items that you farm. So we're going to be working with Farm Log a little bit, and I'm going to be talking about how to kill each of these bosses as we go. That first boss right over there in that cave, very easy. He drops a bunch of blues, guaranteed blue every single time. The blues is where we're going to make our money, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But you kill him real easily. He has a totem. He summons a healing totem and an earthbind totem. Make sure you kill the earthbind totem quickly, because if you're rooted away from it, you're not going to be able to kill it, and then you might have the healing totem up. Not a big deal, though. He is also going to spawn basilisks. You need to kill those basilisks after you kill the boss. Now, after you kill the boss, if you kill him quick enough, you're only going to have 1 basilisk still up, but you might still have 2 basilisks if you didn't kill him too quickly. But pop your, assuming that you are Fury, pop your Death Wish, and burn down the boss, and you're going to be perfectly fine. As soon as you finish him, come over to the ZFGY. We've been here plenty of times with the mage as far as leveling goes and gold farming and things like that, but we take down the Witch Doctor. So for those of you who do not know, the Witch Doctor has about a 45 to 50% chance to drop a blue item. So sometimes we're going to get greens, sometimes we're going to get blues. We're hoping for the blues, but we are, in the end, sometimes going to get the greens. But you take him down. If the Witch Doctor does summon a ward, make sure that you take that ward out quickly. If you are overrun by zombies, or maybe you're new to this with lower gear and you get low health, just jump to the reset spots that you can find in my mage videos over on the side of the wall. But you shouldn't have too much of a problem with this guy. So now we get to the fun part. So you eat up, and I just cut the eating out there so you're not just sitting there waiting for me to eat. But now we're actually going to do the entire ramp strat. And so a lot of people are like, why in the world would you try to do this event? There is 100 mobs that spawn, and you have to kill them all. And it takes like 10 minutes. Well, there's a really good reason why we do this, and I'm about to show you. But first, you have to make sure that you take out the mobs at the front. So any of the mobs that are going to be in the front and affecting the mobs that you're going to be killing with the event, you want to take out in advance. Now, the reason you want to take them out in advance is that if they kind of get intertwined with the other mobs, they could present a lot of issues, and you might actually lose too much health where you can't just regen heal and can't bandage up and things like that. The most important ones to take out is this Basilisk pack right here. So this Basilisk pack is actually going to be the biggest pain because, one, they can stun, but also they just have a lot of health, and they're going to do a lot of damage, and they can aggro a lot more mobs. And so when you're trying to kill all the mobs in the event, they could present an issue. So make sure you take out that Basilisk pack. But once you take them out, you go up to the top of the ramp, you kill this Executioner. He will 100% of the time drop a key. That key is used to open up any of the crates behind where he has the prisoners, which is Bly and whatever. And then they start walking and actually start the event and spawn a ton of mobs down below. Now, typically this event takes a really long time. However, what you can do is you could swap over to your healing gear, as you see here, pop Diamond Flask, swap back into your tank gear, and run down and aggro up about half the mobs or maybe more from the very first part. And now we're basically a mage. Like, look at this. This actually looks more like Diablo at this point than it looks like WoW, because we have a ton of mobs that we're just meleeing down one by one. Now you're going to see that my health kind of spikes down a little bit, but then jumps back up. Now the way that it's jumping back up is 1 Diamond Flask, but 2, there's actually a healer in here, and you can kind of see she's a dwarf right here. And so this dwarf healer actually also heals you. And so if you get low, she puts a shield up on you, as you can see right now that I have. If you get really low, she actually heals you occasionally. I wouldn't count on it because it's not going to happen constantly, but that heal can keep you up for sure through these fights. After those first packs, I go over and I grab the left pack and I pull them up. The reason why I wait to do the left pack of 3, real quick. Major feels bad moment happened during this. I got an AV pop. For those of you who do not know, if you're of an Alliance tune, Horde have to wait anywhere between an hour and a half to 2.5 hours for an AV queue to pop. Felt so bad. And I actually popped a wreck right after it just goes like, what the heck, man? Had to skip the AV queue for the video, but it's worth it for you guys. All right, so back to the video. Pull those mobs actually up here, and they can actually help you burn down the mobs and stun them and keep aggro so you don't take as much damage. But eventually you're able to kill all the mobs that you had on you. You're able to eat. You're able to bandage. You're going to see some kind of unique bandaging techniques that we use. Watch out for the bandaging, though. You don't want to bandage too close to mobs, because if you bandage, it actually does count as healing threat, and so you could potentially pull aggro. So make sure you're bandaging in a smart location. Another thing that you're going to want to be doing is popping a Demoralizing Shout just to decrease the overall attack power. End of the day, you're having a lot of mobs hit you, and you could see that I got down to 9% there. Have major healing potions ready just in case you do get down really low, and don't be too advantageous on pulling mobs when you first get started. But to use Demoralizing Shout, because that's going to overall decrease the amount of damage that you take. Now, I personally have okay gear. I have basically pre-bist tank gear. I have some items from raiding. Not many. The majority of my gear is either crafted gear I purchased off the auction house, or a couple of pieces that I farmed. And so you could do this in most gear. However, you can't do it fresh 60. You're going to need a little bit of gear to get started with this. But overall, you just keep on taking down these mobs. Anytime that you get low, jump onto this pillar right here. You're actually away from the mobs there. They can't hit you. But you actually do keep in combat with them, which is interesting because they constantly keep on trying to hit you while you're bandaging, which is actually not causing any damage to the goblins and Sergeant Bly and all the other mobs. But jump down on the platform right there, bandage back up, jump back up onto the ramp, and keep on going. So you will need a lot of bandages, food, and then you'll also need some major healing potions, just as like an oh crap kind of moment. But after you get through the entire event, it's just these 2 spawns left, and then they're going to spawn some guys to help them out around them. Burn down the Shadow Priest first. Really easy to burn down the Shadow Priest. Just cast Shadow Bolt. You're going to resist it every single time. Burn down the Shadow Priest. Next, I would actually recommend taking down Necrom. Now, the reason why I would recommend taking down Necrom is that Necrom at 20% pops the shield. And this shield actually causes him to be immune to physical damage, which means you have to either wait out that shield or you have to have the friends help you out and kill them. And so I messed up a little bit here, and I let the Alkalites get a little bit too low and start running away, and they actually aggroed up a bunch of Shadow Hunters. And this is another major reason why you want to be killing some of these beforehand, because it kind of gets sloppy. Typically, though, if you kill the mobs without them running away, you're not going to be running into this issue where you have the Shadow Hunters or things like that, and you can just worry about taking down the mobs. But here, we end up taking out the boss, we take out the Shadow Hunters, we're looting, etc., we're going, and you're looking at the farm log and you're seeing, okay, you made 11 gold, 13 gold now. It's 40 gold per hour. But that's not great. Like, I could get that doing any farm. Well, there's blues that I've been focusing on, right? The first boss always drops a blue. The boss that we just killed, the Shadow Priest, always drops a blue. Using this strat to do the event opens up this door up here by using this goblin to open up the door when you're done with the event. And that boss is always going to drop a blue. And if you have the Gazrilla amulet, or mallet, sorry, he's always going to drop a blue. You could also potentially sell runs. Now, I haven't really thought about this yet, but ZF has a lot of quests, and you could potentially sell kills for Hydromancer, Devandamanacrod, which is another quest, and Gazrilla to get the trinket. Something to think about. I haven't experimented with, not factoring into this run. But we're focusing on the blues. So these blues are actually the perfect level range to drop large radiant shards. One quick thing before we jump into this boss, though, make sure that you do use your trinket here to heal yourself. Swap over to healing gear, use the trinket, diamond flask, heal up, and then go into the boss and burn him down. This boss does a little bit of damage. You don't actually need to kill the side packs, which I was errantly doing at the beginning because I thought you always had to. You don't actually have to kill the side packs, and that's going to make it a lot easier because they are actually more tough than the boss. Kill the lower health boss first, and then burn down the main boss. He's going to spawn some ads, and then you can kill them. But all of these blues, every single one, is going to be disenchanted into a large radiant shard. So you do need disenchanting, but it's only level 1 disenchanting that you need. Large radiant shards on my server are going for 5 gold apiece, which means that if you have the Gazrilla mallet, you could get up to 5 blues a run. Guaranteed, pretty much. 4.5, we'll say. Guaranteed. That alone, right there, is 22.5 gold. Just from that. Now you can do every one of these runs in about 20 minutes. This was a little bit sloppy. I also don't have epic mount, as you saw before. So I'm running with the slow mount on this tune. So you can get this run down with practice down to about 20 minutes a run. Which means that if you're making 22.5 gold every 20 minutes, right there, without any other items, you're already at about 66 gold an hour. Now once you start factoring in some of the items that you can also get, we're talking greens, a ton of cloth, mage weave cloth, silk cloth, raw silver. Some of these bosses, just regular mobs, are dropping like 15 silver, raw silver. And then, like we said before, potentially selling the runs. This is going to be a bare minimum, about 75 gold an hour farm. As you can see here, we got big bad pauldrons. Bare minimum about 75 gold. I also want to show this reset spot. If something does go wrong in this boss, if you aggro some of the mobs or you need a reset or something like that, I'm going to show you this reset spot. This box right here, you just jump onto, and this is a reset spot. But now what I'm going to go ahead and do is just disenchant these items, and you're going to see this gold per hour skyrocket. So each one of these is 5 gold. And so if we get 4 blues, you're talking 20 gold right there, right away. If you can get, some other items, you could potentially off level 46 mobs, get edge masters and things like that. This can be a really good gold farm, and it's a lot of fun just to do it on a warrior. And so it's a lot of fun to be able to do it on a warrior. Warriors are going to be potentially able to gold farm. I'm looking into more methods, so definitely make sure that you subscribe down below to see more potential warrior gold farms in the future. Okay, so after the run, I wanted to hop on and actually go through the gear that I have, how I'm doing all these switches, and item rack, which is the essential add-on to make this possible. So item rack is an add-on which I highly recommend downloading if you have a warrior or any class that's going to need any kind of gear swapping. Get item rack. Item rack is this. And so what it allows you to do is it actually allows you to set up individual kind of builds, right, for all of your gear. So for example, I have a diamond flask build, I have a fire resist, fury prot, all these. And what I can do, if you see over here on the right, is you can set a keybind to them. So that all I have to do to swap all my gear is just press F9, F10, F12, F11, all I have to do. So for example, what we were doing in the farm is we were going into our diamond flask set. Diamond flask set is F9. So you can see my gear here. I hit F9 and it swaps all of my gear for me. If you hit bind key, you bind key to F9, and that is how you bind the key. Go ahead, swap all the gear. We pop diamond flask, and then we swap right on over, hitting F10 into our fury prot set. And now we're ready to go kill the mobs. Now I was dual wielding, so I threw on my offhand as well. But now we're in our fury prot set. We are ready to kill the mobs. I do decide to run with, my prot kind of set just to increase the armor that I'm going to have. You can see here that I have almost about 5,000 armor without my shield on and unbuffed and things like that, while maintaining a good amount of damage. As far as the actual gear goes, I have my diamond flask set, which is going to be as much plus healing as possible. So here I have 363 plus healing, and I get that just by having of healing gear. So what I do is I just go to the auction house, I search of healing, and I buy gear. Doesn't matter if it's cloth, leather, mail, whatever it is, buy it if it has a lot of plus healing. Because at the end of the day, you just want to stack that up as much as possible. What you can also do is you can steal it from healers. So you can go into a run such as MC and get the wild growth spalders off of Domo, or you can go and get some rings, or you can try to get rejuvenating gem and really make people mad. Things like that. But you can stack up plus healing, and some people have been able to get over 1,000 plus healing comfortably, which is just crazy, because if you think about it, the amount of healing that you're going to do, that also causes a ton of threat. It's wild. Like, there's warriors on Vale who have parsed with 250 or more healing per second, which beats some healers in their actual healing. It's crazy. So that's my healing set. Then from actual set that I did the kill with, I do have some gear from raiding, and I have some pre-bis stuff. Definitely pick up the ZG pieces, by the way. ZG pieces are really good, really easy to get. You just got to get revered, and then you pretty much get them. You got to get the drops within the actual raid, but they're very easy to get. But I picked up those. Some gear from raiding, some gear pre-bis, some gear off the auction house. I did get Doom's Edge, which I'm really pumped about. But overall, it doesn't take crazy gear. I do push it, but if you start getting low, just jump onto the ledge. Experiment. Try with your gear. I wouldn't recommend it for a very fresh 60. You're probably going to have some tough times. But once you have pre-bis gear, plus, you're probably going to be good to go. And there's people with way better gear than me who are going to be easily able to farm this. Now, as far as talents go, I am Fury Prot. And so this is not going to be the best talent spec that you can use. And I'll try to do some theory crafting and link in the description, kind of the best viewed, or my best talent build that I would use if I was just doing this. But I go Fury Prot because this is something I can do without respecking. This is my raid spec. I can go over here, I can farm gold, and then I can go right back into raid and be good to go. A lot of warriors have leveled up mages. A lot of warriors struggle every week farming crazy things or running around picking up herbs and mining. This is something you can go have fun with your actual Fury Prot set. So with that in mind, this is my Fury Prot set. However, there's some talents that I would probably pick up if I could. Improved Demoralizing Shout. You're going to have so many mobs on you during the arena or the event that you really want to improve Demoralizing Shout. That's just going to decrease the overall damage that mobs do. Improve Cleave. You're going to be cleaving down a ton of mobs. Improve Cleave, more damage from Cleave, mobs die quicker. Blood Craze. Every time you get crit, restores 1% of your health. Probably not going to be getting crit a ton, but that's 1% of your health. Could heal you. So that's some of the stuff I'd experiment with. I'm going to have a spec listed down below of kind of like my ideal spec that I would use. But this is the spec that I use in raiding, and I'm also able to do this farm with. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment below to let me know so. And if you guys have any other ideas for any other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Also, check out the description for the Twitch where I do all this live, and also for my Twitter and Discord where you guys can be notified of any future updates and when I'm going to go live on stream. So I'll see you guys in the next video.